What just happened? I'm Dan. That's Julia. That's Backface over there. And today we're talking episode 3 of Dark Matter called The Box. And the ending of this episode in particular was really mind bending. And I want to talk about that a lot with you guys at the end. So make sure you listen to the end to hear our thoughts on that. But let's start at the beginning. So it starts off with Leighton calling Amanda to tell her what happened with Dawn and Jason. And we find out through this episode that Amanda does not really like Dawn.
Jesus fucking Christ, Leighton.
And Dawn's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I was thinking Leighton, but Don is also fucking crazy. But Leighton
Yeah.
seems a little
Oh,
crazy too.
Leighton's a psycho.
Yeah, he's psycho too. Then we see Jason for the first time, the original Jason. He's tied up. Leighton calls him unwell. And then this is where I wrote this, but we find out later on in the episode. But at this point, were you guys feeling that he has no inkling of this is not their Jason? Like at this point, he just thinks it's memory loss.
I am just trying to help you remember the brilliant man you are.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of strange because like they knew what they were doing. They were sending people to like different realities. So I thought that was kind of strange that he wouldn't at least have like a guess or a hunch
Like,
that this might
have
not
that
be
as like
him.
a possibility at least in his
Yeah,
mind.
it seemed like he
I
didn't think
think-
about
And
it.
I get that, but like it kind of makes sense too that he might have some like something affecting his memory,
Yeah.
especially considering that he has to like inject himself with a drug.
Yeah, I see it as kind of like it's like if Elon Musk went through a portal and then came back and he chose to be a poor dude with a family instead of Elon Musk. No one would really think that's a possibility from the outside. I
Yeah,
would assume he
Yeah.
probably assumes that Jason had such a good life that if he came back, he's coming back as himself. He's not going to like shove someone else through the door
Right,
and take their life,
right.
because who has a better life than this guy that discovered like quantum teleportation to other universes?
well, he figures it out later. We'll talk about it. And then Jason too is trying to seduce Daniela at dinner. He's like spending mad cash on wine.
I got a second ball.
Okay.
Because it was so nice.
Yeah, it was. It was great. It was also $100.
And you got to remember, in this reality, he's not loaded like he was in his. So he's like spending beyond his means. And I wonder if that'll catch up to him. But he forgets about the dinner party. He doesn't know who the hell this person is that comes up and gives him a hug.
Barbara?
Yeah, Barbara.
And that's a common theme throughout this episode. He's trying to do a lot of homework, a lot of studying, and try to figure out, like, all right, who the hell are these people? And that kind of answered my question from our last video of, does he truly just want this Jason's life? And is that all he wants? He just wants to come in and live this Jason's life. And I think that's answered in this episode, that's
Yeah.
truly all he wants. And he just doesn't want to go back to his old life. He wants this life. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple as
Yeah,
that.
like a grass is greener situation. I'll tell you what, I feel like he did surprisingly well in terms of recovery when he slipped up. You know, when he was like, "Who the fuck is that? What's going on?"
Oh, yeah. And especially later on at the dinner party, we'll talk about that too. When
Mhm. Yeah.
just right before he gives his toast. Yeah. So a detective comes in to talk to Leighton,
I'm Detective Mason.
Leighton Benson. Pleasure.
and they're talking about, how they started the business, velocity, like all this stuff. And then she kind of, whoa, what's up with these people that go missing? Jason Desson,
You know, one day he just didn't show up for work, and I haven't seen him since.
he went missing over a year ago. And then you have another woman named Blair.
There was another woman, Blair Kaplan. She worked here too, right? Yeah, she went missing 18 months ago.
And they were the two people that worked there that went in the box. And then they had volunteers were the other two, right? There's 4 total.
They said
they
three?
they
He
told him
says
that there
3.
were 3 others. So I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
there were 4 including him.
We have 4 people missing.
I'll clip it in if they say it. But then she wants to talk to Amanda.
Is Dr. Lucas in the office today?
And in this universe, Amanda had a relationship with Jason. They were living with each other for a year, that we find out in this episode. So Amanda's pissed. She's pissed off right after she talks to this detective. She's like, what the hell? This sucks.
Dawn said she tried to dial 911.
So she shot her
Dawn killed Daniela. What the hell is going on? I told you not to trust this crazy person.
because she's a deeply unstable person who refuses treatment for her PTSD.
Amanda.
I warned you about hiring her.
Leighton's focused on the money he sunk into this. He's like, well, I sunk $1 billion into this. She's like, fuck your billion.
Fuck my billions.
4 people are missing. And now we have a dead woman that we're going to have to cover that up too.
And now Daniela Vargas.
And you can tell that she's really just not happy with the situation, Amanda. And we see later what she does with Jason. So we see where her loyalties truly lie. She seems like she's really not on their side, especially since Dawn killed Daniela. She's not cool with that at all.
Yeah, I
We-
think that was just kind of her realizing that maybe like she works for some really sketchy people, or at
Yeah.
least with some sketchy people. You know what I mean? And she's just like, not for me. I don't want any part of that.
Speaking of sketchy people, Leighton even says if they get caught, they'll go to jail.
We lose everything we've worked for. We go to prison.
Right.
Is it just because of the missing people, or is there something else that I'm missing here that they would go to jail for?
It's got to be like either the missing people or the tech that they're building isn't legal. Because how do you get permission to build a machine like that?
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's some pretty heavy laws in the U.S. against building whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was going to say, I'm sure there's something illegal around using people as test subjects.
Yeah.
For something
Yeah,
like
sure.
that.
And then while they're talking, Jason says directly to the camera that's watching him, he's like, help me remember. He's playing along, right?
Okay, help me remember.
He's like, is what you're protecting worth killing someone over? And Leighton goes, well, no, but basically shit happens. And he's like, you've forgotten what we built. Like, so show me. So they show him the box. They explain how he made it, and then he sees the inside. So Bagface, do you want to kind of explain what the box does?
Yeah. So the thing they keep talking about is called superposition, and it's the state that atoms are in at all times until they are observed. So that's why they talk about like Schrodinger's cat at the start.
To actually create what Schrodinger had imagined. His cat, that's right.
Technically, if you put the cat in the box and no one can observe the cat is in superposition, so it doesn't really exist as a cat. So this box that they built is a way for them to put a human inside, and they use like a certain type of alloy on the outside.
See, underneath that alloy is a layer of active adaptive shielding that you developed. Dad, fuck.
That makes it so no radio waves, no sound, nothing can get in that would affect like the observation of whatever's in the box. So technically, once you go into the box, you are in superposition as a person, which just means like you're in all states of possibility until you are observed. Like either you observe something on the inside or someone observes you on the outside, and then you pick like a definitive point to exist in.
They made a point this episode to say that Leighton has no idea how to use the box, and he's trying to get Jason to kind of remember how to use it, even when he figures out it's not the right Jason. So like that's like a common theme in this episode. So they show him footage of when he gets in the box. He kind of waves by to the camera, and you see Amanda running to it. I guess she was trying to stop him, or either say bye or stop him. I'm guessing stop him because they were in a relationship and no one else had come back at this point, so she didn't want to lose her lover, I'm guessing. But then we see Jason 2 spoiling Charlie again, spending beyond his means probably. He's like,
Sky's the limit, kiddo. Let's call it an early birthday present.
I wonder if he has somehow acquired a ton of money from other universes. I'm gonna just call them universes.
you think?
Yeah,
You think he's got
seems
money like that?
Well, and he had that that storage locker in the last episode that had a
Right.
lot of expensive looking equipment.
Yeah.
So he must have a source of money on his own.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Like he knows how to navigate this pretty well.
Yeah.
So I would imagine he can move in and out of these universes with ease.
Just go
Yeah.
into a bank account of, super
Yeah.
rich Jason and then sneak back.
Go hold up a bank and then just peace out.
That's
Right?
a good point. That's a good point because he seems to not be worried about where the money's coming from. So he's got to have some sorts of income on the side that he can pay for all this stuff for. So
Yep.
it just seemed like a common theme because like with the wine and his wife was like,
Mhm.
what are you doing buying this extra $100 bottle of wine? Then he spurging on Charlie.
Kind of expensive. Is that okay? It's cool. Yeah. What else you need? Knock yourself out. Come on.
And then he's going through people's social media of the guests that are coming, basically like studying them so he won't look stupid when they get there. And then he brings up Blair. He's like, oh, what's Blair's last name? And Charlie's like, oh, I think it's Kaplan. Blair was the first to disappear in his world. So find this guy idea here. Any chance that this is his Blair from his world or no? This is
Ooh.
the Blair. Like just
Ooh.
theory-wise.
I
Theory-wise.
feel like they would do that. Just
Yeah.
it kind of adds a nice level of tension, I guess, to the universe that other Jason is in. If someone
Yeah.
else knows the possibilities and has also
Well,
done the same thing that he did.
It just seems like things are going too smoothly for him. And towards the end of the episode, I'm like, what is going to be the catch here? Because, like I said, he's recovered his fumbles pretty well. That would provide that like oh shit moment for him.
Right. That I kind of like hope that happens, but I don't know if they're going to do that to us. And, they interact in this episode and she kind of doesn't show any cards to that being the case, but I'm just trying to keep my mind open to like, what if that is the Blair that was the first one to go into the box and then she did the same thing that he's done? That would be cool. So I kind of hope that happens. So now it's dinner party time. Jason too, he's got notes on the guests. He's like still studying as they're walking in the door. Ryan shows up. Luckily, he likes Diet Coke in this universe also.
And you probably want a Diet Coke. I would kill for a Diet Coke. You know me. Can I have some? Do you have those?
And I swear he's going to find out first before Daniela. I swear he is. I don't know why.
Ryan?
Yeah, I feel like Ryan's going to put it together first.
Mhm.
And maybe even Jason Q kills him because of this. But I just have like a huge feeling that he'll figure out first. I don't know why. It just seems to be like that's the way they're going. And speaking of Ryan, they bring him in Jason 1's universe where he's at now. They're like, listen.
You told Daniela Vargas the truth. You told Ryan Holder the truth.
So Ryan, come on over here. Tell him what you told us. You're an imposter.
You're an imposter. Another version of the Jason we love.
You're not our Jason. Jason kind of drops the act at this point, punches Leighton, and he's like, whatever, fuck you, now, whatever. Meanwhile, Jason 2 is struggling with questions, especially when Daniela asks him, she's like, what was that hotel we stayed at last Thanksgiving? You really liked the place. What was it called?
Which?
And luckily, he was looking through photos on the phone, and he found a photo of the hotel name, so he remembered it. He's, a really smart guy.
He's got no poker face, though. My God.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I was real nervous for him. I thought that face was going to give him away immediately.
Yeah. Looking like you like, hey, did you murder that person? And he's like, did I?
No.
So then he stands up and gives a toast, and he's doing really well. We see later Daniela is really happy with him. Back to original Jason, Dawn's whooping on him really bad. This is a split scene while Jason 2's giving the toast, and yeah, she's got some screws loose, man. She's crazy.
Yeah.
She's a little
she's
loose.
thick. Yeah.
Yeah, she's sick in the head. And Leighton is saying there's something in him that knows how the box works. And he has to help him, even though he's not there, Jason.
Even if you didn't build the box, a better version of you did, which means you have some innate sense of how it works.
One of his versions created this, so there's something in you that'll figure out how to work it, and you got to tell me because I got all this money. There's a dead person now. I need to know how it works. So that's how Leighton's approaching the situation, and Jason has a great response to this.
You get in the box. You close the door, and you twirl around, and you fucking cross your fingers. I don't fucking know.
I thought that was really funny.
You spin around and
Yeah.
I thought like it kind of added a cool dimension to the show too when Leighton's kind of talking about the applications of what they could use it for. He's like, there's a universe where they cured cancer and cured or like fixed climate change and figured out poverty, and I was like, oh.
What if there was a world where cancer had been solved, huh? Or climate change, poverty, social discourse, hunger?
It makes a lot of sense for a company to want to invest in something where they could be like, we have the solution to all your problems, just pay us.
What if we could bring that knowledge into our suffering world?
Sure, yeah.
And it's like, it's weird that there's this dynamic of he's talking about acquiring all these things that would be great for the world, but like it still feels nefarious.
Yeah.
Because like it's like he just wants to make money off of these things.
Yeah, that's all he's in it for. You can tell. He's even willing to be okay with murder at this point to protect his interest.
Yeah, apparently so.
Then Jason 2 and Daniela are dancing, and she tells him how great he was tonight, but she says, hey, you've kind of been different these last few days. Different, but great. Is there something going on? And we'll come back to that in a little bit when they talk about it. Then this is the part where Ryan and Jason are in the same cell, which if you don't want those two to talk, why put them in the same cell or same room, whatever? They don't get to talk for too long.
I wonder if it's because they wanted to see what they would say to each other.
That's what I was
Okay,
thinking too,
yeah, they're probably watching them. Yeah. Ryan feels guilty because he's like, hey, and we said this last video, that he was the reason that they found them in the first place because he called them, and he feels very guilty, especially when he finds out Daniela was killed.
They killed Daniela. What? He just broke in the apartment and just shot her right in front of me.
He's like, shit, it's my fault. And Jason's like, no, it's my fault. I shouldn't have went there.
My fault. I shouldn't have gone there.
So then he's like, what the fuck were you working on? You say you were working for Velocity. What were you working on? It turns out he was working on the drug that Jason was injected with in the premiere before he was put in the box, and the drug alters brain chemistry of the prefrontal cortex, and that's why the hospital didn't know what it was, because it's a new experimental drug. So it makes sense that they wouldn't have any records of it. It puts certain areas of the brain to sleep for an hour. It stops the brain from its own decoherence, so you need that before you travel with the box.
So like essentially that observer thing I was talking about, it's making it so you aren't technically an observer in your own experiment. So you can go into the box and like get the benefits of the box, which is like picking any universe you want. So they probably couldn't have done it without that drug, because anyone you put in the box,
definitely
would
not.
Yeah, it would just put you back in the same universe you came from. Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, so that was like the breakthrough to let them start traveling in the, with the box. So
Which
then,
is an interesting concept. Like it's nice to have
Yeah.
something a little different when it comes to like this theme.
It's fancy.
Yeah. Then this is when Jason 2 is talking to Daniela about why he's being different, and he's talking about the night that he abducted original Jason, and it's cool to see his vantage point, that he was in a car and he saw him walking the street like before he almost got hit by that cab. So he uses that as an excuse to why he's acting different. He's like, oh, I almost died, now I see life different.
Ever since that moment, I've felt so alive.
Yeah.
So smooth. Like
Yeah.
I did not see that coming, and what a brilliant way to account for his like weird instant change in behavior.
Like I finally see my life with force and clarity.
Right. He's like, I got a new lease on life because I was almost killed. That's why I'm acting so strange. But no, I love you and I love Charlie, and that's all I want. And that's really all that he wants. He just wants to have this life and never look back. So then we're back to original Jason, and Amanda says she's getting Jason out of there. He asks about Ryan. She shakes her head. Is he dead?
What about Ryan? Sorry.
That's what it seemed like to me. The way her reaction was.
Maybe they're going to turn him into a test subject. I could see that.
It could be that, it was like, and I'm sorry, like we don't have time to go save him kind of deal.
Oh, maybe that. Yeah, maybe that.
But the way she said it did kind of feel like she was saying like, sorry, they tied up that loose end. It's over.
We'll talk about it at the end, but maybe we're not even going to spend that much time in that universe anymore anyway. Maybe I'm sure we'll check in on Leighton and Dawn to see what they're up to, but I don't think that'll be a main plot line for at least the next couple episodes, because of how it ends. And we're getting there right now. So they wonder where to go. Leighton sees them in an elevator. He calls for Dawn, and they go to a different floor. She's like, we got to go to the box. Her code doesn't work. It's been deactivated, but somehow Jason's does work. That wasn't deactivated. So they get in the room. They get in the box just before Dawn's able to stop them, and cuts off like 3 or 4 of her fingers while it shuts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's.
Oh,
We're supposed to.
That was
So that sucks. Yeah.
I mean, kind of karma. If you think about it.
Yeah, she sucks. So they take Ryan's drug, and then boom, they're off. And then we see Jason 2. He's watching home videos, studying, and he finds a birth certificate for a Maximilian Descent. So did they have another kid that died, I'm guessing? Probably what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't figure out what that was for.
Yeah, I was a little stumped on that one. I'm wondering if it was a child that died, and they're going to make the point of like there's going to be hardships in no matter what universe you're living in.
Yeah.
Like you might be miserable in your original, timeline or whatever, because you're just like lonely and a weird scientist. Over here, your family life is going through some shit.
If that is true, if he did have a son, Maximilian, that did die in this universe, he's lucky he's doing homework, because if that ever came up and he didn't remember that would be a dead giveaway.
It might be.
And he doesn't
still.
It might be because
it could be.
True.
Yeah. If he like asks who Max is, and she's like,
or if it somehow comes up and he mentions it, and she's like, I thought we weren't gonna fucking talk about that ever again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of deal. And he doesn't have that advantage of saying like, oh, the box affected my memory.
You're right.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He needs to go and get in like a car accident or something, so he can
Right.
so he can play dumb.
Make some head trauma, my man.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, some head trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some minor head trauma. At least take a punch to the face, something.
Yeah, go get hit by another taxi.
Yeah, actually get hit this time.
Yeah.
So, but I'm still going with Ryan finds out first, and Ryan goes to Daniela, and then Daniela's like, well, he has been acting kind of weird, and then they put it together. I'm still going with Ryan finds out first. So, all right, here it is. This is the final shot. The timer goes off. It's been 3 minutes. Where are they? The box is now infinitely bigger. It looks like it never ends. It's this shot here. What the hell? Where are they, and why is the box never ending now? Do you have anything on this? Because it completely fried my brain.
That is
You do.
superposition.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's them.
Okay.
in
Like
superposition.
liminal space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. So they're not
Because they're
anywhere?
technically both existing and not existing in all states.
Okay. So are they not at their destination yet? Is that
No.
why?
So I
No,
think
they're not.
the shot is like the hallway has doors to boxes.
Doors is what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or what
Yeah.
I gathered anyway.
So the doors are
Alright.
going to be every box in every possible universe that exists.
Yeah, it's like every option that they could.
Yeah.
end up.
Shit.
Just last week when I was talking about how it's pretty impressive that Jason 2 found his way back to his own universe, because that's what he would be working with. Is you'd pop into
Right.
the box and it'd be endless doors forever. It's like, how do
So
you learn to
like is there a way to like mark them? Like, because I would imagine there isn't. But also like can you just like pop your head in and see what's going on in that universe? How long is it going to take you to figure out what's going on, what variables are happening in each one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense now, because that confused me, but now I get it. Thank you. Okay. So that's where we are. Let me know what you guys think and comment your theories below. And we'll be back next week for episode 4. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Later.
Bye, guys.
What do you make?
Transistor-based silicon qubits with quantum annealing processors.
That's a mouthful.
Here are our thoughts. Oh my God. So now they know. My God, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Congratulations. Oh yeah, that's a good moment.
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened? That just happened.